Yeah. A little tone. Still tuning. Morning, Holly. All right. Hey, Tal. Oh, I hold on a second. Let me turn off the drum machine. There we go. All right. Tal, you asked me a question, I think, in Discord. Let me go over to Discord real quick. I've got some more diagrams too for today. I think I did 4 more strumming grooves that we're going to talk about. Oh, Tal. Okay. Yeah, I think this is you. Yep. You even used the same icon. So you said very recently your left shoulder has begun hurting when you play acoustic. Haven't been playing electric, so I'm not sure about that. I play right-handed. It's really weird. It doesn't take long for it to begin hurting. Well, here's what I would do. I would take the whatever your position is when you're playing guitar, and I would just hold your arm like that without a guitar in it and see if it hurts. If it has anything to do with the guitar at all, or you've got something else going on. I'm not sure how old you are, but you probably, you might want to go see a doctor just in case. I certainly don't want to scare anybody, but you never know what's brewing. I've had 4 friends have back problems, and they're all fine now, but all 4 of them, they went and got x-rays about their back and everything. It turns out they had a tumor. It was like, what? So they're all from different places too, but it's like, you don't really know things like that until, it sends them. So like, I'm immediately going to the darkest place and smiling while doing it. But just, my point is, if it hurts, if it's only guitar playing and it doesn't hurt normally, then yeah, maybe if you're just a beginner and you're only playing like a half hour a day, it might be your body's just kind of adjusting to it. But it's always good to go get an X-ray or something, just have it checked out and make sure nothing's weird. Yeah, 61. So that could just be age. I mean, everything aches now, right? I'm 59, so I'll be 60 in a couple months, and I'm like, yeah, everything hurts. I should change the lyrics to "Everyone Hurts" to "Everything Hurts" on REM. Weird Al Yankovic should do a version. Everything hurts. So yeah, and if you're a beginner and you're doing something new, that's definitely going to be the case. If I go out, I haven't played golf in years. If I went out and played golf, I'm sure the next day I would be miserable. So, but if you feel it doing other things with your arms similar to guitar, then it may be. And if it's on the outside, if it's in the inside, it might be more worrisome, I think, than if it's on the outside. Inside would be, I think you have lymph nodes there. Starting on such a dark note. Sorry about that, Tal. I didn't mean it. I'm not trying to scare you, but I saw your question. I don't get on the Discord very often, as you know. So, yeah, everybody else is hearing it, I think, Matthew. Yeah, I've got signal here, so I can see it. Sometimes I mess with you and cut out like that, just to so you think that maybe it can't be heard, but there's something wrong with your uter. But okay, I'm just hello. Oh, was it Halloween in Holland, in Dutchland? Strahleites. Yes, it's pronounced Strahle. So we started out on Wednesday with new series, Grooves and Styles, and I just basically did an intro to eighth notes, playing eighth notes, and there's basically a couple ways you can play them on acoustic. You can do it with all downstrokes, which would be more kind of a rock feel, or you could do it with down upstrokes, it'd be a more folky feel. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then we also talked about accents. So we're going to do more of that. I've got another accent one we could do. The bottom one there was where we accented on one and the and of two. Very common accent. In fact, what's Ed Sheeran got in trouble with Marvin Gaye for that groove, which is they sued for the co-writer of the song sued for $100 million. Are you freaking kidding me? In fact, I think it was a company that represented or something. It was something to do with a corporation sued Ed Sheeran for $100 million for that. I think they ended up settling out of court, but ultimately everyone in the business, including lawyers and everybody in the business, is saying these are bogus lawsuits and they should be thrown out. But juries are hearing them and juries are deciding, and it's ridiculous because they're just, I don't know why, but they just get sympathetic for someone. Oh, thanks, Holly. Yeah, Holly's picking up where Bruce is visiting family, I believe. So he got his shots, so he's good to go. So I'm sure there are a lot of people that are rejoicing that they've gotten the shots and they can finally see some family, especially younger. But I don't think they won $100 million. That song, what's the song? Thinking Out Loud didn't make $100 million. No song makes $100 million. So it's completely preposterous. And you can't copyright a groove. You can't you can't copyright that. It's just not possible. And the tempo and the keys were the same, I think. And the feel was the same. But other than that, there was no similarities. The lyrics weren't at all identical. The grooves were not. I mean, the melodies were not the same. The instrumentation wasn't the same. So it's not. It's like that guy's made. What is the song that the Marvin Gaye song? It's It's not sexual. No, not sexual. So I think it was an E flat actually, and I think Let's Get It On was either the 3 chord or Ed Sheeran's was the 3 chord. I can't remember which one was which, but one of them did E flat and an E flat over G. I think that was Ed Sheeran. I think Let's Get It On was E flat to G minor, which is technically right there. That should have been thrown out at that moment because it's like, no, and you just can't copyright a chord progression or a groove. It's like trying to say you copyrighted the phrase "I love you." You can't do that. No court would hear. Somebody should try that and say, "You said I love you in a song, and I copyrighted that." So you can't do it. It's too common. and same thing with a 1-4-5 progression. Come on, you can't copyright the 1-4-5. And yet, I think that one may have been settled out of court. I'm not sure. John's saying that he has a Digitech RP55 multiple. Oh, it has a bunch of drum loops. Oh, that's great. Let me find that up. See if it's on Amazon, and then if somebody wants to research it more, great. And then you guys could probably talk more about it in Discord. And then if you buy it from this link. Let's see. Oh, it probably is no longer. Oh, wait. Yeah, it's a pretty old thing. But it's cool that it has. Super cool that it has. You can get a chord for it. But yeah, 2004. 2014, sorry. But that's really, really cool. And you can, like I said, there's drum loops on YouTube, I'm sure, that you can jam along with too. And like I said, on YouTube, you can even change the tempo. So yeah, thank you, Steve. Yeah, let's get it on. But that's kind of the groove. So if you wanted to do let's get it on type chords, you would like do something like G over B, C, D. And you would change chords on those accents. Okay? But on Wednesday when we were doing those accents, we were just sitting on the same chord, right? We're just sitting. We were just practicing the accent. But if you want to, a lot of times the accent is where you make the chord change. And so in some ways, you almost don't even need to accent that, because if you make the chord change, it sonically, harmonically, and in the listener's ears, it's already kind of naturally accented because you've changed a chord. So let me try not to accent it and play that groove. Let's see. But I think it's very natural to want to accent it. So here's chord action. And we're going to talk about that little thing I'm doing at the end. Well, and the great thing, John, about YouTube is that you can be on your phone. You can have it anywhere. So if you're on vacation, you don't have to have your RP55 with you. But there's a million type pedals like that. If everybody has one that's currently available on Amazon, I'll happily create a link that I make money on and put it right here. So you can totally do that. Yeah, you should. I actually did write a song, and I put the phrase, because I get my Starbucks every day. I put the phrase "bucked up" in it. I got bucked up, which is a play on the original. And I thought if they ever use it in an ad campaign, like "get bucked up," then I'd sue them and say, "Hey, that's from my song." Now, St. Arbuck's is not my original. I wish that was mine, but somebody said, "Oh, you're going to St. Arbuck's," and I was like, "Oh man, that's brilliant." Yes, I'm going to St. Arbuck's, the church nectar of the gods. So let's see. So let's practice changing. We can go back to the E to E sus. Let's practice changing. So we're changing on 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. All downstrokes. Let's try with maybe G to C. Let's go to G like this, and then to C2. So go. slow down a little bit. And I am accenting one and the end of two, because this feels good. Okay, so if we were to do that thinking out loud or groove. He does an accent on 4/2. What does he do? Yeah, he does that nice, like, he does like a second on the B flat chord. Which again, that's another thing. That takes it further away from the Marvin Gaye tune. So I just don't get that, you know. The other one was the Pharrell one. We were talking about that yesterday at church. And it was just preposterous. You know, you can't copyright a cowbell groove and the fact that the bass line was played on a piano, a Fender Rhodes. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen them, but, you know, with a Fender Rhodes electric piano, very classic, been around since the 70s at least, maybe the 60s. But they also made a Fender bass piano, which was just like maybe 2 octaves, just the low notes. And so it was kind of cool because somebody got the notion, oh, you know, you can play, instead of have a bass play the bass line, you can have it played on a Fender Rhodes, and it sounds kind of cool. And so that's what Marvin Gaye did on that one song, and that's what Pharrell and Robin Thicke did on their song. And so, but again, instrumentation is not copyrightable, or else, you know, everybody would be suing Mahler or Beethoven, or, you know, or Beethoven and Mahler would be suing everybody, or I don't know. The Beatles could sue any group that had 2 guitars, bass, and drums, right? So, okay, now, 6 picks were $15 and $13. I know. I had that issue with I bought an Autoharp, a broken Autoharp. So I'm going to leave the room and I'm going to change guitars. So take 2 sips. So I got this. Beth and I went on went up to Ventura for the weekend, and I saw this in the window of a guitar store, and it was a broken thing that they just put broken things in one window of the store, because I had all these broken guitars and stuff in there. And I said, how much for this? Because I actually want a zither. I don't want an Autoharp. I want a zither. And so they gave it to me for $50. The strings were $100. So I bought some strings and put them on. It took about 3 nights to do it, watching Netflix and putting on strings. The first few particularly took a while, and then once I got a rhythm down. But right away, I broke the D string as I was going low to high. And I'm trying to figure out, I need to maybe put some Gorilla Glue. This is like a piece of cardboard under here, but it's real handy because it's a very thick piece of cardboard. It's very handy because it tells me all the notes, and that would come in handy. But it's touching one of the strings, so it's kind of got this. It's like, yeah. It's really weird. It wouldn't touch the note if the winding were there. But anyway, so I went to order a string, and it was $5. I'm like, that's fine, because these were 36 strings were $100. So $5 for that, but it was $7 for shipping. I'm like, okay, let me see if there's some other strings that I need, you know, maybe for a bouzouki or for ukulele or something, you know. So I'll order other strings from juststrings.com. Besides that, but that was the only place I could find the string. Maybe I'll try Amazon. Just dig a little deeper in Amazon and see if I can get one string. Also, I may do, I've got my Dove tuned up to open C, which is C, G, C, G, C, E. And I may do a video today on fun chords in Open C. I've had some requests, so we'll see. I actually didn't realize the video I did where I play Open C for the very first time. It's already got like 5,000 views, and I'm like, well, that's pretty good. I totally forgot. And the other one too is it got a really slow start, but the John Lennon grooves and then the Neil Young grooves. So I'm trying to come up with let's see, some more artists to copy the grooves of. And I'm trying to think, is there somebody in particular, oh, dang it, where did I write this? I've got to have it somewhere. Oh, Freyvik Strumming. Okay, here it is. It's got its own thing. So I think I'm probably going to do Jack Johnson next. He's not as like old school as Neil Young or John Lennon, but he definitely has a feel that he likes, and that one would be a kind of a fun one to teach. So who knows? And then so I'm going through a lot of acoustic guitar players trying to find somebody, a certain groove that they really like. Like Keith Richards, John Denver, the Eagles, Bob Dylan. It's been tough because a lot of those artists, they do change up their groove. So Neil Young is very consistent, and John Lennon did like 6/8. But it's not like everything John Lennon played was 6/8. But he definitely kind of dug it. So I'm probably going to start working on one of those videos too soon, if I can. Okay, where are you? Here you are. How's everyone doing? I should do some shout outs, and then I'm going to get back to, we're going to work on, I've got some new grooves to drop in over here, okay? Oh, Steve Winwood. Yeah, did he play guitar, though? Can you recommend a few songs with a good melodic acoustic solo? You mean like solo guitar, like, shoot, I'm trying to think of, like, that's not really a, so you mean it has a guitar solo in the middle of an acoustic guitar? I don't know. Anybody got any suggestions? I'm not sure if you're asking for a song that's just solo acoustic and it's melody, and I'm trying to think of even one I can try to think, but we could do, we could take any melody and put it on acoustic. Or you're talking about, you're saying solo. So when I think of solo, I think, oh, okay, we got a verse, chorus, chorus. Okay, guitar solo. Is that what you're talking about? So I'm sure there's a lot of suggestions you'll find in here. So, yes, Pepper, I am wearing pants, particularly blue jeans, like I own anything else. Hey, Sham, what's going on? So, Holly, thank you for being here. Thank you for moderating in Bruce's absence. Paul Meyer, good to see you. AJ, Tal, Bob, Ed, John, Hook, Jim Horst. We got Addie, good to see you. All right. All right. Matthew B, good to see you. Let's see. Steve Barry. I'm trying to get everybody. Oh, Dennis, of course. Hi, sorry. I said hi to you earlier, too. Max is here. Awesome. Glad to see Max. Sam Stamos, of course. Good to see you in Michigan. How's that hip? Am I hip? Let's see. I'm not. Alan Floyd. Good to see you. Matthew Esquire. Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. Jack Lloyd and Matthew Floyd, I always get mixed up. Well, welcome. You're a newbie. Well, you're in trouble now, Matthew. You're going to have to stand up and tell your life story in front of everybody. And Sham's here now. And Andy Wilson with a question. So if anybody wants to hit that question, a good solo in the middle, like Layla by But Not Very Bluesy. Oh, okay. Yeah. So anybody have any suggestions? If one pops to my mind, I'll shout it out. I'm just not thinking of it. You know how it is when somebody asks you a question. Okay. So just a quick review. Generally, typical songs are in 4/4. You have 4 quarter notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can subdivide that into eighth notes. So you could have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. If we were to subdivide that into 16th notes, it'd be 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and. And we're going to do that today. And then but the eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Of course, it depends on the tempo. If it's really fast, you're probably not going to play it all with downstrokes. Because with every downstroke, that means you have to have an upstroke that's not playing the guitar. So you just can't, I mean, Pete Townsend would do just downstrokes, no upstrokes, right? You go. That's just a downstroke. So I guess if you could do that really fast, you could play only downstrokes without an upstroke. But every time I go down, I got to come back up to go down again. Okay, so technically, if I wanted to, I could take all those eighth notes and then turn them into 16th notes just by hitting the strings on the way back. Okay, we're going to do something similar to that in a minute. But the very top one here, let's see, right there, is just notation for eighth notes. Here is notation for eighth notes played with downstrokes, and here's notation played with down and upstrokes. And that would look like this. And a lot of folk grooves are like that. So if you want to play folkier, and if you want to swing, it's kind of almost easier to do it with this kind of groove. So yeah, Andy's not new. Andy's been around. In fact, I know someone named Andy Wilson, but I don't think it's the same one. And then, but with the downstrokes too, you can put the accents. And that's that first one that 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now I have another one like that that's very, very similar, but it pushes the accent to the end of. So I'm going to delete this one here. I think that's it, right? Yeah. I'm going to remove this one. Yes. And I'm going to grab this one. And so it's very similar. In fact, I probably should have left the other one up there, huh? Because now you can't tell how similar it is. Okay, so I'm going to move this here. And I'm going to bring the one I just deleted back. And that one's here. That way we can see, we can go back and forth. And you can do this. Sorry, just get my windows in order here. You could do this just an accented like this, like go the one right there. Okay, with the accent on and of 2. Okay, you can do it just by hitting the guitar harder. You can also do a chord change at that point. So you can go. I go to E minor to A2 or something like that. So so that was, again, slowly it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and big. Okay. The other groove, the one that's further over this way, it's a lousy weatherman. The cloud movement, okay, is the accents on the end of 3. So here's what that sounds like. I'm just going to play it with the E chord. 1 and 2, 3. That's right, what? 1 and 2 and 3 okay, so thanks, Paul. So, John, let me see if I can figure out what you're asking there. There you go. That's the rest of your questions. Yeah, I'm not thinking when I'm playing rhythm. Not now. Maybe if I'm learning a new rhythm, I'm definitely thinking. Okay. I may at some future point in this series pull up some Brazilian things. That's one of the. I've got a book that's really great, but boy, do I have to think playing them. And you just have to play them a million times until you don't have to think. And then if you don't play them again for like 6 months, you forget them. But there's some great feelings. As soon as you hear them, you go, "Oh yeah, I know that feel." It's like, but they're kind of hard. It's like the like I said, I came to think of. The bossa nova stuff. There's just a million bossa nova feels, and they're all just really cool. And there's some really cool chord progressions that go with them. It's just like so romantic and so I don't know something about it. It's really fun. It's like it's amazing how different the music is in all the different areas. And Brazilian music is different, like got 1,000 different styles in Brazil. But you think of Peruvian music, and then you think of like bossa nova, and you're like going, there's nothing. They don't sound alike at all. So. Let's play this with just a pure E chord. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Sorry, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. It sounds very similar to the other one. If you notice that the distance from the and of 3 to 1 is the same as the distance in the other pattern from 1 to the and of 2. So if you were to drop, if you were to hit play in the middle of that groove, you might not know which one of those two I'm actually doing. You might not know which of those two accents was 1. And so that's where it helps to have a chord change. So if I change chords on 1, so if I go from E to E sus, then you don't lose that so much. 1. Okay. Now that's the second. That's the first of those two grooves there. The second one is the one we learned Wednesday. Towards that. Okay. That and both of them are the and of 2 accent is more common, probably much more common than the and of 3. But I like the and of 3. I like that delayed kind of almost gratification. You could also do them both. Like I could do. And you can also imagine maybe a crash on those accents. Okay, so for example, let me do this. Let me create. I've got that drum groove I was playing with earlier. Okay. All right, so I'm going to add a MIDI and see what kind of drum. This is SoCal drums, drum kit, SoCal. Now I just drag this down. Okay, so now I've got. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to make the hi-hat louder. Because again, the hi-hat is what you want to listen to kind of get the sense of the drummer, what vibe are we playing? Are we playing 8th notes or are we playing 16th note feel? Okay. So I've got a crash. Let's see. So if I go bump, bump, so right here, I think, bump, right there. Okay. So let me spread this out a little bit. It would be annoying if the drummer did a crash every time. We can do that right now, just to show you how annoying that is. Let's see, how many different symbols do I have here? Not there. No? Just 2? All right. Boom, boom, right. Okay, I think that's... Like I said, that's pretty darn annoying. But I'm putting a crash on every one of those accents. Now I'm doing this one right here. Okay. Woo, rock and roll. Okay. So that's the beauty of doing MIDI is you can manipulate this. Now I'm going to move these two crashes down so that they're all the same crash. Super duper annoying. Okay, but now I'm going to move those over to the other accent, which is the and of 3. 1, 2, 3. You can almost imagine yourself, you know, the drummer playing that, or you can imagine yourself hitting the cymbal. It sounds like a small splash. I don't think it's 8 inches. And a lot of times too, you can get, so like remember to change chords there. Exactly. Boy, is that annoying. See, I wouldn't hire that drummer back. That drummer would not. But I'll eliminate 2/3 of those, or 3/4 of those. So it's only going to happen every now and then. That's more normal, you know. But you know, a drummer might accent a different part, you know, or with a different. You may hit it with a tom. Like I could do that. Let me do, like, for example, so there, it's a cymbal, okay. But like this time, I might go tom. Let's see, this beat. What tom should we use? Let's get a nice low tom. Okay, so it might be. Actually, I'll put one there. We could even alternate between cymbals and toms, just so you can hear what that sounds like. Here. Okay, and I'm gonna shorten the loop up. 4 bars. Okay. You know, that kind of thing, and what all that does is it just kind of tells you as a guitar player, oh, okay, so you know the chords change here. It's kind of helpful sometimes. So drummers can kind of be the conductor. They often are. Hey, Whitsend's in the house. Good to see you, man. Anybody come up with any acoustic songs with some good acoustic guitar solo in it? I'm trying to think. My brain is just not. But Andy was asking, you know, with a guitar solo on acoustic guitar, has that, you know, there must not be that many, or Rick Beato would have done his favorite 20 acoustic guitar solos. Okay, so anyway, enough about the whole this accented quarter note thing. What I want to talk about, or accented eighth note thing, I'm gonna delete this. Remove. We'll delete this. Oops, this one. Right. Try not to delete something I'm gonna need. Yes. Okay, and I'm gonna show you what 16/16 notes look like. We've talked about this before, but we're gonna look at this and how it's counted. Okay. Okay, you see that? A little bigger. So like I said, there's probably other ways to count it. I don't know how they, you know, if Holland probably doesn't count it, you know, in the Netherlands, they probably don't count it one EN to 2 EN to 3 EN to 4. But that's how I was taught. And these are 16th notes. So if you count all that, you can see 4 groupings of 4, right? And that's typically how you write them. If you were to write out 16/16 notes, you could do, yeah, it's just, that's the easiest way. The reason why it's written that way and grouped that way, okay, is so that you can see each of the quarter notes go by, okay? If I connected all of those, which you totally legitimately could, if I connected them all with stems that went across, the bottom, you had double stem all the way across, you just wouldn't have any idea which eighth, especially if those were moving notes, where 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, you know where 1 was, but after that, you probably get lost. So that's why they subdivide everything this way. I'm trying to think if I have any music like that. What did I do recently? No, I don't have any music like that. So I just recycled all my charts that I print out. So we can even just take one string and play this. And I mean, if the tempo is really slow, you could 1, 2, 3, 4. You could play it with all downstrokes. That would definitely evoke speed metal or hard rock or fast rock tune, okay? But that's what 16th notes sound like. Now, at the tempo of the drums, here's eighth notes. Eighth notes would sound like this: 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and that's really low for me. They will go to C, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. 16ths would sound like this: 20 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2. That's a good exercise right there, isn't it? Ooh, that's hard. You just like seeing me struggle. That's why I do this. That's a hard one. It's funny how the pinky one's easier. Woo. Okay, now I'm going to have to create an exercise to get better at that. All right. So, but for, we're going to get back to our big E chord, 16th notes, eighth notes be like this. And if you can do it with all downstrokes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, all downstrokes. Okay, basically that second right there is what I'm playing right now. Down, 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 down. You're already doing the up. So you should be able to go. And the trick, a lot of it is hold the pick really loose and keep your wrist loose. Okay. If you hold your pick too tight, you're going to snag a string, and you're going to either break a string or the pick's going to go flying out of your hand. Okay. You don't want a fish hook in your hand. You kind of just want this like a piece of fabric almost, just loose. And I'm kind of using a tripod thing where I got 2 fingers and a thumb on there. So I got, some people will use picks that have a grip on them to help. But again, my wrist is pretty loose. I'm not using really hard arm. If I'm going to do it like a power thing, I don't know. I still wouldn't use my arm. It's going to be more of the wrist and kind of let it be loose. Sorry, I'm not seeing the comments. I got to get those up. There we go. So it'd be like this. 4 and I'm going to change the E sus so you can hear where 1 is. Now I'm doing different accents because I'm bored. Now I'm changing the weird chord. E major again. 20 and a 2 and a 3 and a 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you can get that, you can. good solos by David Gilmour. Are there acoustic solos by Gilmour? Dennis in the house or other building. Okay, so that's how you count. Oh, and here's another thing. That drum groove, I'm using I'm using Drummer in Logic. Right now the hi-hat's doing 8th note. Okay. Here's 16th note. Oops, no. Here's 16th. Hear that? Add the kick in there. Oh, you know what? I'm changing the wrong one. I like that kick. It's a little hot though. But I can change the kick drums and everything. The kick and then throw the snare in there. 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, but you can hear the hi-hat. The drummer is telling you it's a 16th note song. So this will be the time to pull out the 16th note groove. Okay, so your right hand should lock with the drummer's right hand. Of course, the drummer, if he's playing 16th notes, he's probably using 2 hands. I know drummers that can play 16th notes with right hand. Oh, was that a text? Sorry. One of my composers just texted me. Asking if I can do legitimate flamenco. I'm like, I wish, you know. All the flamenco players are like, ugh. But part of the problem with for composers is, you know, you really want to hire someone that can, you know, when you've got like a movie and you need something totally legit, a totally legit player in that genre. But oftentimes like flamenco players are not used to playing to a click, or they don't know how to read music. So you send them the music and they're like, I can't do anything with this, or you send them some kind of like MIDI version of it, and I saw that. Yeah, I saw the famous acoustic solo in "You Better Think Twice" by Richie Fury. I'm sure I know it. Poco, Paul Cotton had great solos. Yeah, I'm just not familiar with the tunes. So, but I'm sure if I heard the song, oh yeah, I know that tune. But a lot of times, composers, you know, they have to hire studio musicians to kind of play in the style of. I can kind of play flamenco, but it depends on how hard it is. You know, I can do the tremolo, some of the tremolo stuff. I can do some of the rasgueados. Some of the rumba stuff, which I probably shouldn't do on a steel string guitar with these nails and just like flying off into this. But yeah, it's interesting. So we'll see. I told him to send me something. I'll do a test on it, see if I can play it. Yes, Matthew Scott. Yeah, it's a very common. I used to use it. Let's see, what was it? Open the eyes of my heart. You know, not accent. I mean, I would change grooves from the verse to the chorus. It kind of, I don't know. That song kind of starts on the chorus and goes to the bridge, or I don't know how that song is laid out. But yeah, so I'm doing kind of a pure 16th note kind of feel, but with accents. And I'm accenting kind of every third 16th note, so it creates this almost triple feel, but it's not. And we talked about that. I call it the free range group. I did a video on that. I did a video on that, and I love it. You know, big. That's where I'm putting the accents on one, on the of one, on the and of two, on the e of three, and on four. And then you can only do, you know, chunks of three so many times because you have 16th notes. So 3 doesn't go into 16. So at some point you're going to have to change it up. And so on beat 4, I either just play accent on beat 4, or I'll play an accent on the beat 4 and the and of 4. So again, we're talking about the 16th note groove and some variations on this groove. But if I play that, so it would be like. So let me do the 4 and, the accent on 4 and the accent on the and, as well as the triplet accents. Now, if I just did 4 as an accent, it gets a little more breathing room. Right. And then fast, it sounds really cool. And again, you'll notice that the accents fall on, if I were to put, remember, we're alternating here, down, up, 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 okay? So if you looked at where the, what kind of strum was on the of 1, it would be an upstroke. And on the and of 2 would be a downstroke. And on the e of 3 would be an upstroke. So you're accenting alternating upstrokes and downstrokes. So it's like up, down, up, and then down, down, down. It gets you strong into the 1. And fast, it just sounds great. Now I kind of got it originally from the first time I ever heard that groove was actually on like well, probably in a Western, but first time I heard it again was like in the late 80s, early 90s, maybe early 90s on a Wells Fargo commercial. It was like, it was that, you know, kind of D to D. Da-da-da. Like that, and it was just really like, wow, as soon as you heard it, we're like, yeah, get along, woo, you wanted to ride a horse down through the desert, you know, that kind of had that vibe. And so yeah, it's a great, 16th notes are great for that kind of energy, but you can only go so fast with 16th notes, you know. It's like you can't do a tempo 1, 2, 3, 4, and it just doesn't sound right. So, you know, maybe melodically, if you're playing bebop, obviously you're going to be, you know. Shoot. definitely, that stuff is fast. 16th notes. But anyway, well, actually, those are mostly 8th notes. The tempo's really, really fast. Like those tempos can be 300 beats per minute. Kid you not. I've seen bebop tempos 300 beats per minute. And so 16th or 8th notes are just insane. So at that tempo. Okay. So I didn't write any accent, but I mainly wanted you just to see how the quarter notes can be broken up into 16th notes, subdivisions. Okay, so we had 1, 2, 3, 4, then we had 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and now we have 1 E end to 2 E end to 3 E end to 4 E end. You can count triplets, which would be in between, having 3 strums per quarter note. You can count that as 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. Keep it even. Don't go 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4. Go 1 triplet, 2 that, and that's very even. And that would be the thing about that is you like what's it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's a shuffle oftentimes. So we'll talk about that. Okay, later. We're not going to get too complex with triplets yet. All right. So, but no, here's a thing that you can do if you're a professional guitar player like me and you get handed a chart. And I'll drop all these in the Dropbox right now. That even has 1 16th, a couple 16th notes like that in it. See that? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2. And then that pretty much means all of these are going to have to be downstrokes. Because if I went up, I always think you can see my cursor, but you can't see my cursor. But if I went down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Now I'm playing up on a downbeat, and that's not going to work. So if you have 2 16th, and really that, I call this the cheater rhythm. It's a lot of times players use that 16th note thing, and I do it all the time. I'm guilty of it. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's very, very what we call idiomatic of the guitar. Because, again, there are basically 2 harmonic instruments in the world, piano and guitar. Okay? Instruments that can play chords. And that's not, obviously, there's other instruments. But for now, it's keyboard instruments and fretted stringed instruments are the 2 main instruments that play chords in the world. And so the piano, when they want to change chords, they just hold the pedal down. It holds the chord that they're on, and then they can kind of get their fingers ready on the next chord and then play the next chord, right? Guitar players, we can't do that. So we have to, if we want to go from, like, say, G to D, which, the fingers are all moving. If I go G to C, that's fairly close. I can do that pretty much seamlessly. But with G to D, you got a lot of moving. And imagine if I'm doing something like, G13, with a flat 9, or G7, G7 with a sharp 5 and a flat 9, and then I'm going to C major 9th up here. Although I probably wouldn't be doing a strum groove. I'm probably not going to be doing that kind of groove on that anyway, so probably not relevant. But going from G to D, where you've got a lot of movement and things that have to happen to make G chord from the G chord, you throw in this little end of one, buck a boom or whatever. It's like. Pete Townsend did it all the time, right? Right. It buys you time. But people really do expect to hear that. I remember I told you the story about a composer friend of mine. I still see every now and then. I worked with last year, in fact. And the song was in F sharp, and I was playing acoustic, and it's just a bad key, And I don't know if I didn't have my capo, or I don't remember why. Maybe what was happening, it was in E, and then it went to F sharp or something like that. So I just wanted to play in one long thing, and I didn't want to have to capo and stop and say, "Hey, let's capo." So I went to this, and then I didn't realize. And he's like, why are you playing an E minor 11 chord between every chord? And I went, what do you mean? And he goes, well, you're hitting, and he had perfect pitch, and he played the notes he basically played on the piano. And I said, oh, dude, I'm so sorry. Kind of the nature of the instrument, because he doesn't really know guitar. And like, just go to the chord. I'm like, yeah, but I have to do there's a lot of stuff that has to happen between here and here. And at that tempo, I don't have a lot of time. So he understood, and it's totally automatic. Nobody notices that every one of those strings are completely in the wrong key. Doesn't fit in the key of F sharp. And so that makes for, it's something that's idiomatic to the guitar. People almost expect to hear it. And even if they don't, if they hear it, it doesn't rub, which is weird. Because normally something like this, would rub. It's like, what the heck are you playing? But it doesn't, because it's expected, and that's almost necessary. But you can get around that by keeping your hand on the guitar, and it just sounds like muted strings. Okay, so that's kind of a trick, but this is the rhythm that we're playing oftentimes when we're doing that. It's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and it's a great feel. And like I said, it kind of pushes you into the next bar, right? I mean, that's how Pete Townsend really used it. They especially early on, man, they were punks, they were rockers, they were, and he would oftentimes use that 16th note push at the end of the beat 4 to get you into the next thing. And it's a great momentum builder. So it's a great group to add to your arsenal. But as soon as I see those 16th notes, if it were written out, and most usually you wouldn't have it written out, but if it was written out and I see those 16th notes, I know that it's not this. I'm just going to turn myself around if I do that. So now, as soon as I see 16th notes, I strum all 8th notes as downstroke. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1. Exactly. Keyboard indecision's exactly, Paul. I actually had a guitar synth for a while. And it had a guitar strumming sound on it, which was hilarious. And it was funny because it had a pedal, and I could sustain. I could play organ and then go like immediately to the next chord, a piano, and use the pedal, and it was like, wow, that is really weird to go like this, hear a piano, and then hold the sustain, and it would stay until I lifted the pedal up and hit this chord. It was like, wow, man, I wish guitar could do that. But I'm glad it does it, because it's part of the charm of the instrument. And you can really get to the point where you can get pretty fast. Sometimes I'll use I'll play E like this, and if I'm going to go to B, I'll probably use if they really don't want too much gap between them, I'll use similar shapes that I can just move around without having to kind of change string bass notes and change shapes and all that stuff. So, hey, Ark, what's going on? Yeah, I've never really had an engineer. I only had one composer complain about it. And that was because, again, he had perfect pitch and he didn't understand the guitar well enough to realize that I couldn't be in two places at once like he can on the piano. You can literally have your C chord still ringing out and have your hand right over F, and you get good at it. Paul will tell you, he's a good piano player. You got your pedal down, you play C chord, you go over to F chord, and as soon as you push down on the F chord, you disengage your right foot on the pedal. So they happen simultaneously. You're just doing this. So your hand is going down and your pedal is going up, and then you re-engage the pedal so this chord will ring. I mean, everybody knows that about piano. Anybody who sat down at a piano, played it, they realize what that does. But you get to the point, like Paul said, you can have a lot of indecision in the meantime, and especially if it's a pad or something that rings out until you take the sustain pedal off. So you kind of made it. All right, so so understanding this rhythm here kind of means that you have to understand this rhythm over here, the 16th notes, that how you can subdivide the 8th notes into 16th notes. And then here we're using just a couple 16th notes to kind of give us A, momentum into the next bar, or B, a way to hide our indecision or our lack of ability to change chords instantly, which is true for all guitar players. Now, if this is how long it takes to get to D chord, then you got to work on that. Okay, there's no amount of 16th notes that's going to hide that. You can't go. You can't go, yeah. However, just playing that right now, it reminds me of when I was teaching, and I would force students to keep strumming. You don't want to do this. Okay, stopping, because part of what will get you to change faster is just your hatred for the sound it has until you get there. So if you're like, it takes you, you'll get it faster. Because really, when you're playing and the people are singing, it's okay if the chord's not perfect, but you got to keep the time going. Nobody's going to want to sing along with la, 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 la. No one's going to want to sing along with that. I love that screenshot of me with Pinky and Blue Boy on Discord. So I pinned the Discord link. If you're new to the channel and you want to continue talking about me after, like talking about the zit on my neck right there, it's so gross. I'm so embarrassed. I'm sure that's already been discussed on the Discord. And now it's going to bleed because I just scratched it like an idiot. But at the Discord, you can keep conversations. There's announcements occur there, I think, yeah. Bruce, who's one of the moderators, but he's not here. He's traveling to see family. He is doing a CGB build, CBG build, cigar box guitar. So you can see the progress on the cigar box guitar. I also got a new toy. Well, I got a couple new toys. You saw the Autoharp. I also got something else which you've never seen before. I can pretty much guarantee it. I'm going to do so I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to show it to you now. I want to, but I'm not going to. I filmed an unboxing and demo of it. So I'm hoping to put that up on YouTube at some point. I have the video files for that. Also, I think today I'm going to do a video on fun chords and open C tuning. Those videos do very well, and I always neglect doing them. I always forget. So I'm going to come up with a bunch of fun chords in open C. So I don't know if any of you play in open C, but that's C, G, C, G, C, E. So the top string is E, and it makes it kind of a challenge. I might be tempted to tune that down to D so that I have a 2 chord with no third, and then I can easily make it major or minor by adding a finger. But I'm going to try to do some fun chords in open C, so we'll see what I come up with. Let's see. Yes, Matthew. Matthew says, I did that 50 years ago when I was 12. My jam mate said, you're out until you learn how to switch chords faster. Exactly. You just have to kind of keep it. You just have to keep the groove going. And that's important. You'll eventually get to the point where I only had one student that couldn't learn to change chords faster. And to be honest, he might have had some kind of physiological thing that wasn't allowing him to. He was a brilliant person. He was a Caltech scientist and NASA JPL scientist. He was one of my first students when I got to California, and he took lessons for years. I think he literally, I told him, we maybe take up something else like golf or something. I mean, and I needed the $10 that he was paying me for the lesson, the $10 a half hour or whatever it was, $10 an hour or something. But man, it was like pulling teeth trying to get him to change from just a C to a D. For 3 years later, he still couldn't do it. And I kept telling him, you don't need to take lessons, but he was like, I think he just wanted to give me the $10 every week. He felt bad for me. So, because I was like starving. It was basically those days, we've all had those days where you're living on ramen, right? That's pretty much what it was like. To this day, I'm like, I can't eat ramen. I just can't. Although, I may get ramen, the good ramen, but it's going to cost me $20. But right around the corner, it's not $20, it's like 16, $15, something like that. There's a really good ramen place around the corner for me, and so I'm pretty happy to get ramen. That sounds kind of good, actually. Let's see, Steve Barry, a couple more acoustic solos. Thank you. Acoustic unplugged. He mentioned that. He mentioned it because of the blues. He's like, oh, and I Love Her is a good one. You're right. Oh, and has I really loved. Yeah, that was Paco de Lucia. Yeah. So, yeah, Have You Ever Really Loved a Woman, the Bryan Adams song. Pork flavor, yeah. Yeah, remember? Well, in fact, it's funny because that's my favorite. I get the pork belly over at the ramen place around the corner because it's so good. Oh, man. But it's so fresh. I don't know if I'll get it today or not. I don't know. I haven't eaten anything yet today, so I'm kind of hungry. Oh, hey, John, checking again. No worries. You haven't missed anything. Okay, so what other grooves did I write out? It may not be related to the 16th note thing. Oh, yeah, this one is interesting. I'm going to go ahead. Oh, for one thing, let me just drag all these into Discord. Again, that's the other thing that's in Discord. So you might want to, if you're not on the Discord, you might want to, I've got a tab here that says Tom's Lesson PDFs or JPEGs or whatever, or pings. I'm just doing screen captures. So, okay, these are other ones here that I'm putting up. So everything that generally appears in the, here, sorry, over here, in any of the stuff we've been doing, or songs like when I did, I was writing original songs every week. Where are those? Remember I was writing songs with bluegrass. We did scales. Weird. Oh, weird. Bill Cheatham, like this kind of stuff. All that stuff is there at the Discord. I probably should save this window and then have those other ones. I may do that now. I'm going to just duplicate this so I have this one again. Hey, Michael Mason, how's it going? Hey, Lena, good to see you. Late again. All right. I'll let you, I won't mark you as absent. Okay, so there's another groove. I'm torn about showing it, but I think I will. I'll put it up here. I already uploaded it to the Discord. Okay. Let me figure out where to put this. So let me see. Where can I put this? So look at this one here. I've got, okay, I'm going to move this cheater. I'm going to make this cheater one really small. And I'm going to make this small too, the 16th note thing. This is more for academic purposes than the 16th. Although we totally play the 16th, but I wouldn't play that 16th note groove without some accents of some kind, okay? This one, notice that the accent's on the and of every beat, okay? That evokes many, many different things. I like to do... like that where, I'm hitting a bass note on 1, 2, 3, and 4, but on the ands of the beats, I'm hitting a chord, so it kind of comes off as an accent because the chord is, 3 or 4 strings is going to be louder and more accent centric than a bass note. Occasionally I'll put in a 16th note or whatever, but I'm all downstrokes on this. I'm down, 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 down. So we do with E. I'll slow it down. Bass note, chord, bass note, chord, bass note, chord, bass note, chord. And when you hit the chord, hit any number of strings. It can be 2, 3, 4, 5. It doesn't matter. Okay, and then go to D, go to E sus, so you know where 1 is. 1. Let's see, 1 and 2. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. MK, that was a good question actually. And I might talk about that. You didn't need to retract it, but totally good question. So I think my next, and I'm going to have to do some review, but my next favorite strumming groove of different musicians, because I did John Lennon and Neil Young. That's it so far. I think the next one, who's again about the only artist I found so far that really has a consistent groove throughout all his songs. Jack Johnson. And he does a muted thing with the bar chord. So there's 2 ways to mute. You can lift the chords up. So like if you're playing a G bar chord, okay, you can, when you want the chord, you squeeze it. I do it with funk all the time. So if I'm really playing that groove right there. See that one right there? Solid 16th. If I were to keep the E9 chord squeezed, it would sound like that. But I'm only squeezing like, pretty much every third. Again, it kind of gets that free range groove, but in a completely different, free funk groove now, funk range groove or something. We may talk about this too. We did talk about this before. I would do normally that on electric guitar, but on acoustic guitar, if I'm playing like a G chord, G chord, I can squeeze it when I want it and let it up, but don't take your fingers off. Leave your fingers on the strings. Like Bo Diddley. Actually, that's a good. The Bo Diddley groove would be a good one. So I'm going to have to add in that. And finally thought of one. Bo Diddley pretty much did that groove on everything. So that is a good one. So maybe my next 2 will be Jack Johnson, and then I'll do Bo Diddley in that. I think it would be a popular series. It's a great way to learn a strumming groove by just studying one guitar player and getting it down really good. But Dylan's a hard one. He's kind of does his own thing. So, but yeah, so that's one way. The other way you can go ahead and palm mute with your right hand. And so, in other words, so I've got a bar. I'm holding this down. I'm not letting it up. But generally, when I'm doing a mute with the right hand and I'm playing a bar chord, I still lift up my left hand. So I do both. That's the Jack Johnson groove. He does this. He does it all the time. It's a great feel though. He does it in kind of an island context, which really works. That kind of Hawaii beach vibe, right? So Paul Balash does that. Yeah. I'm almost think Paul Balash predates Jack Johnson. I mean, I know he's older than Jack Johnson, but I don't think Jack Johnson got his groove from Paul Balash. So but Jack is probably got it from a million other players. It's not an uncommon groove, but it's just very common for him. So it's a fun way to learn the groove by associating it with an artist. Mm. Yeah, but I think every Bo Diddley song was the Bo Diddley groove. And I always think of I Want Candy. And that's kind of what the Open the Eyes of My Heart, the Paul Balash thing is kind of the Bo Diddley groove. Again, it's that 3/4 kind of subdivision that is hard at first, but once you have it down for the rest of your life. It's a great feel. I do have that video. So okay, so the new groove I have right down here though is a couple different things. So I just love it. It's a friendly groove, right? Well, especially the major groove. I can make it unfriendly. That's for the benefit of the people that tune in at that moment. That's all I'm imagining is like, somebody tunes in like, what the heck is going on here? So, but this is also the reggae groove, okay? So like the accents on the end of the beat, a lot of times for reggae, one, boom. I don't know if I have a reggae groove in the drum. Let me see if my drummer has reggae groove. Where are you, drummer? Here you are. I don't think so. Let me do another drummer. Alternative rock, songwriter, maybe R&B, electronic hip hop, percussion. Percussion might have. No, that's going to be more Latin stuff. Let me try songwriter. I don't think that there's mute. Okay, not. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything where I could find some kind of reggae thing. I mean, I could create a reggae beat, but anyway, yeah, it's a pretty simple beat, but a lot of times that you avoid the downbeat or you avoid beat one, which is really cool. It's a very unique thing about reggae music and some island grooves, but. So if I were to play this on a slow tempo, I could go. So I'm not going to play 1, 2, 3, or 4. I'm just going to play the ands. So it's 1. Much easier with bar chords to be on what's his name's point that was asking me about muting bar chords. Much easier with bar chords because I can have it not ring out past the end of the beat by lifting my fingers off the string, or lifting the strings off the frets, not the fingers off the string. So see that I'm squeezing and I let up. I'm not going like this though. Not that. Just keep your fingers on the strings. Just don't let them ring anymore. It's like letting up the pedal on the piano. So for a minute here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. Yeah, I could probably. So like a common. Let me see. What is it? Okay, I don't like that drum kit. Let me duplicate this, and I can create a little. Let's see. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a kick on one. Where's the kick? Why is it all the way there? Okay. So like 1, 2. It's too fast for reggae. Oh, weird. Too fast for reggae. So I'm going to slow this down. Say 85. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3. I think. That was late, but I'll quantize because I'm late. And then hi-hat, I'm just going to go and a. Like that. So watch this. 2, 3, 4. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and quantize that, even though, yeah, that wasn't too bad. Okay, so, and I'm going to add a bass. And a bass, so we're going to go from G to C, okay? But I'm going to, even though oh, no, I don't want to do this wrong. Even though I have a kick on, I may get rid of that. I may move the kick to somewhere else. But I'm going to add just a basic, bass. What kind of bass? Let's see. Fingerstyle bass. Just a simple bass. Boom, boom, dum. Boom, boom, dum. So I'm just going to do like just going to do a triad, but I'm not going to play on beat 1. I'm going to play on the and. 1 and da da 3, 4, 1, boom, 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 like that. So it's going to be this 3, 4. Okay, so that, it's not great, but it gets the point across. So, and I think I want these notes longer. A little longer. Okay, so there's that G to C. So I'm just going to make the 2. I can even just take G and then slide up. I can do open chords. And I think the kick would do something different than that. Let me move the kick to 2 and 4. See what that sounds like. Might be kind of cool. I love kick on 2 and 4. It's kind of one of my favorite things when drummers do that. And so they're avoiding 1. So I'm going to put a kick on 2. I'm going to move that kick that's on 1. I'm going to move it over to 2, and I'm going to duplicate it. So, yeah, that's much better. So there's nothing on 1. It's like, so that's so reggae. I mean, it's a little stereotypical, but it's stereotypical because it's so common. Yeah, I can do my. I think reggae's been kind of happy though. I like, but you're right. Minor chords are very common too. Oh wait, I can't do. I have to change the bass line if we're going to do that. Obviously. Hold on a second. So, oh, this. Oh, that's funny. There's like a tremolo on it. I don't want a tremolo on there. Why is there a tremolo on the bass? There's no tremolo on the amp. Why is it? One thing I need to turn off. I think it's already off. Project settings, MIDI. I'm gonna have to sign off here in a minute because I've got a bunch of work I gotta get to. But yeah, I could take both those chords. I could take the B's and the G chord. Oops, I don't want this. Yeah, the B's and the G chord, and just take them down. Why is it vibratoing? I don't want vibrato. So who puts that much vibrato on a bass? Where do I turn that off? See, I don't see that sampler. Oh, maybe it's in the sampler. Filter. Modulations. Oh, here's one. No, I don't want that. How do I turn that off? Oh, envelope 1. LFO, where are you? Oh, there it is. Okay, just turn it off. I think that should. Yeah. That'd be G minor to C minor. The space on the downbeats is really, really fun thing. And that's just a little aside. Now, if you take that same groove, I'm going to finish with this. Yeah, Diane's not around to hound me for story time anymore, right? Remember, she was always like, tell us a story. So, so yeah, red wine goes to my head. I think that's major chords though. Goes to my head. But the other thing is, if you play this really fast, it becomes ska, right? But I would play it upstrokes. But it's still eighth notes, believe it or not. So instead of playing all, like with reggae, we're envisioning all downstrokes. Okay, like right here, right here. This is the eighth notes played with all downstrokes. Hard to get my finger right. There we go. Here's the eighth notes played with downstrokes and upstrokes. So if we're going to go to a real fast tempo, we're going to have to go with the alternating strumming pattern. And that's when you're going to start playing this pattern down here with those accents are going to be upstrokes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2. But that's when you get the ska speed. When you get to ska speed, you're gonna have to go to alternating pattern just to keep up with it. It sounds better to have an upstroke on there too. Sometimes I hear reggae with upstroke. In fact, maybe more likely to hear it with upstroke than a downstroke. But you can start practicing it with downstroke. Work on the upstroke later if you want to. The hard part is just hearing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, because real soon, if you're by yourself playing this, you turn it around and you're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. You're on the downbeats. You're like, dang it, how did I get on the downbeats? I'm supposed to be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Yeah, happy Easter to everybody. Happy Good Friday. I don't know. Do you ever say? You don't really say Happy Good Friday. I don't think. Some of you may have it off today. I mean, most of you are either working from home or not or retired. So, all right. Thank you, Matthew Scott. I appreciate that. So we're going to continue on Monday on this. And like I said, I've got some stuff coming up, kind of a new job that's going to be pretty demanding. And I'm probably going to have to go to 2 times or maybe even 1 time a week. I'll try to keep going 1 time a week. The other thing I want to try to do is I want to try to do more YouTube videos. Because like I said, these live streams pretty much max out at 1,000 views. And I think that generates maybe $1 or two for me, but that's it. So I spend 2 hours and I make $1. It's kind of like nah. So uh, you know, I thought maybe when originally when I started doing these, it really boosted the view count to my other videos, my pre-existing videos. But that stopped happening, and so originally with COVID, it was really exploding, and it was revenue was even 2.5 times more than normal, but it's dropped down to about 50% of what it normally is. Um, so I've got to create more content that is going to get more than 1,000 views, and so that's why I need to spend some of this time that I spend with you guys, because I spend 6 hours a week. That's what 24 hours a month typically. But then I also do prep work. Creating these things takes an hour or so, or sometimes more. Like writing songs, I could spend 2-3 hours just for one lesson prepping. So I need to try to spend my time in more productive manners. I have bills to pay, so I never did. We lived for free for 25 years, so I knew what I was getting into. I'm not surprised by the cost of a house at all. And then I've got a big thing coming up, which I may talk about, but I may not. I got to keep it on the DL on some things, and then I did another thing that I just signed a NDA on, so I can't talk about that thing I'm doing. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff going on, and the new job is going to require it's kind of have a big learning curve on it. So I'm going to have to spend a lot of time learning some new stuff. And one of the things is I'm going to have to learn my way around PCs a little bit, because I'm going to be using PC slaves to drive a lot of my software. But for the most part, I'm still going to be interfacing with a Mac, which I'm very familiar with. So that shouldn't be a problem. Oh, good. You got your vaccine appointments. Awesome. That's awesome. Well, I hope that goes well. That's funny, Paul. Well, and that's the beauty of the Discord too, because the Discord you guys can continue to spend time with. Well, yeah, I mean, you can, Lena, you can always pay $10 a week for my coffee. I probably won't use it all for coffee though, because then I'll never sleep. Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no. And I'm not what you would necessarily call a YouTuber, but and here's the other thing too is that when people find out there's money in this, like a lot of people are like, you make money on YouTube? I'm like, yeah, I make some money on YouTube. Then they're like, well, I'm going to start doing it. So the competition goes up. I mean, I remember a friend of mine. She got me started on this, and she was just a kid, but she was making 20 grand a month on her YouTube channel, and she was the one that kind of got me started and taught me how to do it and everything. And then her husband obviously quit his job and started doing it. And now he's got more subscribers than she does. So, I mean, they make a lot of money, plus they get endorsements, things like that. But I said, as soon as people find out how much money you're making, there's going to be a lot more people doing it. And so they're constantly up in their game. They bought a house with a barn that they turned into a TV studio, essentially, so that their videos continue to look excellent. But a lot of it is fan driven. So, all of you keep me up here. And so financially helping out, yeah, for sure, that doesn't hurt. So, I do have a PayPal, and yeah, I could. What is my PayPal? I've never really asked for money, but except for people I work for. Now, what is my PayPal account? It may just be my email. It may just be my email address, but Yeah. I think it's just my email address, which is tstrahle@mac.com. But I don't want people emailing me at that and asking me questions. Gmail is fine, gmail.com, tstrahle@gmail.com, but that's not my PayPal. So I can put my PayPal up there. I think I can do that at some point. No, on the chats, no. I think I get 70% of that. So if you give $10, I get $7, and I'm fine with that because I'm fine. YouTube is creating this giant worldwide system that allows me to interact with people all over the world, which is amazing. And they're storing all these videos. Think about the hard drives they must have to store. How long is this video? 2 hours? I do this for a while I was doing it for 60 days plus. I was doing it every day. So is there going to be a quiz? No quiz today. No quiz on this. I should quiz you on it, but then you have to reverse sip. And according to Gary, and I don't like that. I don't like reverse sips. Well, there are no dislikes today. I don't see Alex. Yeah, Alex usually gives me a dislike. Let's see. The old Barn Studio. Yeah, inside the album cover, Mr. Young. Yes, that's a great. Yeah, they're doing. They have enough land where you don't really hear anything, but they actually have a farm. Part of what my friend's husband does is he's a chef. He's a very good chef, and now they're doing farm to table kind of stuff because he's growing everything. He's growing a lot of the stuff themselves. It's pretty amazing. But yeah, Steve Barry, the chats, I think I get 70% of that. So if you give me $5, I get $3.50. So that's always good. But I think if you do PayPal, it's 100% goes to me. So all of a sudden my PayPal's lighting up. So yeah, let me look. I think I have it as my PayPal. I know I have it on invoices because I have a lot of composers and people, producers that pay me. Yeah, my PayPal is my email address. So, like I said, I hate to get that out there, but maybe I can set up a separate PayPal that is a different email address. Yeah, reverse sips. Yeah, if there is a quiz, because I usually say take a sip if there's no quiz on it. We haven't really talked about something that would have no quiz. I know I got these. You can buy the mug and the T-shirts, but like I said, you got to be really careful who you're having coffee with, because if you're having a real important conversation that you want them to remember, they're going to say, "But you said there wasn't going to be a quiz on this," and then it's kind of counterintuitive. So don't buy my product is what I'm saying. The worst advertisement ever. All right. We've got a pretty good showing today. We had a good showing last. We got 47 peak of 47. That's awesome. Let's see, Lena. What did Lena say? Oh, okay. I can post my PayPal on Discord. That's true. I'm happy to do that. You're welcome to support me. I appreciate it. I actually, like I said, one of the goals today is to do a video on fun chords in open C, but I have to discover them. So I've got my Dove in the other room tuned to open C, and it's just sitting there, so hopefully settling into the tuning. And then I'm going to come up with a bunch of chords, and then I'm going to try to film it. So we'll see. Hopefully it'll work out. And the other video I want to do, I did do a video. Okay, I'll show you what I got. And you tell me if you've ever seen this before. You see, it's got strings and a keyboard and a lot of Japanese writing on it. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see. But I did an unboxing of this, and it's pretty sick. So I'm going to be using that on some stuff coming up, and so that'll be kind of fun. Also, I've got. I've got to do a video for a friend. Let's see, right? Yeah. It's the same as my tinnitus. My tinnitus is just slightly below C, which is bad. When I have a high C note, I can hear it flutter against my tinnitus. Yeah, that thing's wild, isn't it? So stay tuned for that video. I don't want to do too much of a reveal here because in case somebody sees it, then they won't watch the real video. But and I also want to try to get some legitimate playing down on it. I'm actually going to get a second one. That one's electric, so I'm going to get an acoustic one because I feel the acoustic one's more legitimate. But the electric one's cool because I can plug it through all sorts of crazy effects and makes all sorts of noises. Ungodly noises mostly is what I'm going for. So anyway, I don't want to play it. I'm just going to show it to you so you can go try to figure it out. And I already gave it away because I said what kind of writing was on it. So you can rewind that if you didn't catch that. Yes, Becker. Yeah, and YouTube definitely helps. So I'm not mad, I'm not upset with them getting paid. But anyway, God bless you all. I'll talk to you later, and I'll see you on Monday. I'm planning on Monday. Wednesday might be a little weird because I think I have to go pick up Beth at the airport. She's out of town for the weekend. She's back in Indiana going to a wedding. And so I'm batching it, but I'm so busy because church, I've got 5 Easter services that start tonight. And then I've got work to do for different composers. So hopefully I can do Wednesday. At least I can do Wednesday maybe for an hour. Okay, I'll try to do that. But I think her flight gets in around 10. So I don't know. Fortunately, it's Burbank. So I don't have to drive all the way to LAX, which is good. Okay. Anyway, God bless you all. I will talk to you soon. And or see you Monday, Lord willing. Okay, bye-bye.